World Health Organization reported that 4.2 million people died prematurely last year due to poor outdoor air quality. Much of that they blamed on the transportation industry and power generation. The WHO reported that black smoke from the incomplete combustion of fossil fuel would exacerbate both lung and heart issues, as well as causing several forms of cancer. Ambient air quality last year also reached a new inflection point where polluted air now has a more negative impact on human life expectancy than does smoking cigarettes. But this must only be true in like China and India, right? Well, while air pollution is an issue in China and in India, it's also an issue in Chicago and in Indiana. According to the World Health Organization, unsafe ambient air quality impacts 91% of the world's population, including every major city in Europe and most of the United States. Let's not kid ourselves. Air pollution is killing people, and probably people that we know. Despite our best intentions to clean up our air, millions more people will die. But there is hope. Much work has been done on exhaust system technologies to reduce emissions in newer engines. Billions of dollars are being invested in new technologies that have a tremendous impact to not only reduce our emissions, but to actually capture and recycle carbon from the air. However, these technologies will not be implemented overnight. In transportation, diesel fuel demand continues to grow. It's pound for pound the most powerful, affordable energy source for use in transport. It will be the most popular energy source for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 decades. This is exacerbated by the lifespan of heavy transport. Locomotive engines are designed to be overhauled and to last 35 to 40 years. Ships, many times, will rust before the engines are needed to be replaced. And that's same in the truth in mining, where engines are designed to be refurbished every 20,000 hours and last again for decades. What if we could make diesel fuel work harder to increase power and fuel efficiency so each existing engine used less fuel per activity? What if we could eliminate black smoke caused by incomplete combustion to create a safer work environment? And what if we can do all this without the need to mechanically upgrade or replace equipment that is yet to be fully depreciated? All of this can be accomplished by optimizing the performance of diesel fuel without any engine modification. Purify Fuel is launching a nanotechnology-based combustion catalyst, which we call Nano 2. The active ingredient in Nano 2 was introduced by Oxford University and then patented by Solvay, a $14 billion European corporation. It was used in the Beijing Olympics to reduce harmful emissions. Since the Olympics, Solvay has successfully sold this technology to diesel engine makers for use in their exhaust systems to reduce emissions and burn off particulate matter. It's currently installed in more than 14 million engines worldwide, primarily in Europe and Asia. Solvay and Purify Fuel have a 10-year joint development project to augment this technology for large fleet operators. Our objective is to burn a larger percentage of the fuel sooner during the combustion process instead of in the exhaust filter. This will generate more power, improve fuel efficiency, and reduce emissions. Purify Fuel has customized and patented Solvay's original nanotechnology-based oxidation catalyst to effectively advance the timing of a diesel engine. First, we boost the fuel cetane value to get the ignition to start sooner so it has maximum time to burn completely during the power stroke. Second, we add an oxidation catalyst that donates billions of molecules of oxygen during the combustion to extend the burn. These two elements combine to chemically alter the timing of a diesel engine to burn a larger percentage of the fuel during the power stroke. Lastly, we suspended the first 2 components in detergent and lubricant agents to keep the fuel injectors clean and the engine temperatures low to prevent the formation of oxides of nitrogen. So what Nano 2 combustion catalyst does, it increases fuel efficiency 6 to 12%. It reduces deadly carbon monoxide. It eliminates unburned carbon. It reduces unburned hydrocarbon. It helps the engine run cooler. It reduces NOx, keeps the engine running at full potential to optimize power. Best of all, depending on cost of the fuel and the fuel efficiency gained, for every $2 that you invest in the combustion catalyst, you should actually reap $4 to $5 in cost savings from fuel usage. That's right. Our combustion catalyst actually reduces their overall fuel cost while reducing their emissions. It sounds too good to be true, huh? Snake oil. Not a single snake was harmed in the production of Nano 2. And we understand that oftentimes what sounds too good to be true is indeed just that. You know, my better half didn't believe it either. So when I talked to Shelley about joining Purify Fuel team, she made me prove it to her prior to putting our family at financial risk. So we live on the edge of what's called Alligator Alley, an 80-mile tollway running between Fort Lauderdale and Naples, completely flat and hardly used at all. We rented a brand new Cummins diesel and drove for over 7,500 miles on cruise control, monitoring wind and testing different dosing levels. It got so tedious that my co-pilot Jasper got tired of riding in the truck. But at the end of the month, we had proof that it improved fuel efficiency by 8% and reduced emissions by as much as 50. So we joined the Purify Fuel team. So we then wrote a big check to have our formula independently tested by the Houston Advanced Resource Center at the University of Texas in Austin. We tested at various loads using both US 45 cetane fuel and higher European 55 cetane fuel. The results were impressive, 5 to 14.6% savings based on loads. While these results were good, I was confronted by a Saudi Aramco analyst who stated that he had read 2 or 3 dozen research papers on this technology. And while he believed it worked in labs, he has never seen it work in the field. So we had to prove it to him and to everybody. So we've spent the last 2 years perfecting an Internet of Things-based testing platform we call Proof of Performance, or POP. This ruggedized equipment allows us to calculate grams of fuel consumed against power production on real production equipment performing actual work in the field. The picture above shows one of our actual locomotive POP trials. The diesel flow meter is measuring net fuel in and out and the temperature to calculate actual grams of diesel fuel consumed, while the amp meter is counting kilowatt hours of power produced. And so what do the results look like? In tests at a very large short line operator on multiple engines, we were able to demonstrate 6.4 to 9.2% in cost savings. The customer reports that his engines are cleaner. The carbon that builds up in the smokestack is going away, so he doesn't have to worry about stack fires. And he is now putting it into all his locomotives. We also ran a tech at a large fracking site up in Pennsylvania and then later in Texas, again measuring grams of fuel consumed, but this time per hydraulic horsepower hour of output. In our initial trial there, you can see by different loads rate, we saved roughly 6.2% in fuel. We also reduced emissions by 45 to 57%. Last month, the customer went back out there again and did an audit after 250,000 hours of pumping. And what he found was, in addition to the original 6.2% in chemical savings, the extra power generated allowed them to run at a higher gear, which gave them additional 2 to 3% savings. This results in increasing the savings that the customer experienced from $7.5 million a year to $12.6. They now have come to us and they've asked us to come up with a more concentrated solution for use in urban areas. because we can get rid of the black smoke that is causing so much pain and angst to them in cities like Denver, where fracking is literally going on in schools and in backyards. But is it safe to implement? The answer is yes, it is safe. It meets the published fuel specs of both ultra-low sulfur diesel and marine gas oil for every major engine manufacturer that we've tested. It has been tested and shown to actually clean engine and improve cylinder pressure. The active ingredient, nanoceria, is used currently in 14 million engines and has never caused any damage. And we have a warranty program backed by our product liability insurance against any damage to fuel engine caused by nanoceria. Nano 2 will not negatively impact your engine, just the opposite. It will extend the life of your fuel system, keeping your cylinders well lubricated. We're currently focused on sales to large off-highway customers of diesel fuel. These tend to be very large customers where each new user can have a significant impact on the local environment and where we can have a significant impact on their bottom line to help them overcome new fuel standards such as the IMO 2020 and meet local demands to reduce black smoke. If we could just get these 5 markets to adopt Nano 2 in all of their engines, it would have the same impact as removing 100 million metric tons of CO2 emissions from the air we breathe every year. This group here in this room, the ones that we're talking to right now, you have the ability to make this vision come true. We can make diesel fuel cleaner in all vehicles, old and new, with 0 engine modifications. Is this product perfect? Can it stop 100% of emissions? No, it is not perfect, but it's practical. We can capture 30 to 60% of the black smoke on the 400 diesel engines that are installed without requiring any modification or any upfront expense. But we need your endorsement of this technology as a practical transition step to buy us the time until a perfect solution can be implemented. We need your help.